Hello, everybody. Nick Powles, publisher of 1851franchise.com, your news resource for everything franchising, and CEO of 1851 Growth Club. So, what is franchising? This is an important question for anybody that is on the outside considering getting into franchising. And there's really three types of people or businesses that are going to enter franchising. One, you're a candidate. You've dreamt of building wealth for your family or doing something that fits more into your lifestyle or, not having to work for a boss anymore. You're a candidate. We'll describe what franchising is for you. You're a franchise or you're going to become a franchisor. What does franchising mean for you? And how do you do it the right way so that you can have growth in franchising? And then you're a supplier. What are you battling with here? How do you find your point of differentiation? How do you break into an industry that is very, very, very small and requires diligence, hard work, validation, credibility from the brands that you work with? So for the candidate, what is franchising? Franchising is an opportunity for you to invest into a business that's been established and proven. And so you get to buy in and open up a unit. Now, there's a few critical elements that you need to know. One is there are arguably 4,000 franchise opportunities out there. So let's say you've decided you want to buy a pizza brand. Fantastic. Well, now you look at the pizza brand category, and there's a few things you need to understand about how it's going to work for franchising. For you at that stage, you've decided I'm passionate about pizza. I want to own a pizza brand. Now look at the investment ranges, and there's going to be various types. There's down the line, which think of something like a Mod pizza or a Blaze pizza. You have for delivery, like a Domino's pizza. You have sit-down restaurants like deep dish, like Giordano's. And so there's variations of what type of brand exists in the category. So as a buyer, what is franchising is your opportunity to buy into one of these businesses, but now you need to align your financial wealth or your financial earnings to the concept that makes most sense. And so now you have to find the fit. And so the fit is going to come from a few areas. One, where do you live? Is there market availability? Many times a franchisor sells a deal to a candidate, someone before you, who has swallowed up a multi-unit agreement, meaning they've signed on to have 2, 3, 5 locations in that market, and they're going to develop it, but they also freeze out the marketplace. So in some cases, you might be looking around that marketplace and saying, I want to get into franchising. I want to own a pizza brand, but unfortunately, you're locked out of that concept. So then you need to look at other concepts. So when we're looking at how do we help guide you, the candidate, to the right place, we're also going to look at what areas of opportunity exist in the category and what brands should you be looking at, maybe not just one. When we've done research at 1851 on the candidate journey, and we've asked how many brands does the buyer look at, and it's somewhere between 3 and 5. So you're not wrong to say, I want pizza. Here's what I can invest in. Here's the type that I'm excited about. And now here's 2 or 3, 4 or 5 brands to look at in that category. Now that you've settled on what can you afford, my recommendation is if you can afford just one, it's not the right concept for you because ultimately you're going to want to scale. Why? We'll get into unit level economics and profitability later. Find the video on our website or find it on YouTube. But ultimately, you're going to want to look at the opportunity that you could own 3. How are you going to scale this into a business that can kick off the wealth that you desire for you or your family? Beyond that, now you get into fee structure. You've landed on a brand. You filled out a form on the website. You're now in their funnel. The sales team has called you and said, can we guide you and give you more information on what franchising is? At this point, you're understanding like how do things work? And you're most likely going to be introduced to an FDD, the franchise disclosure document, that's going to give you basically the inner workings of that business. Important things for you at that point is what is the cost to get in? So you understand the averages. And then you get into the franchise fee. Now, the franchise fee, we're going to dive deep into what this fee means. But ultimately, you're exchanging cash in exchange for the opportunity to operate that brand. Then when you're open, you'll pay some fees. It comes in the sense of royalty. So every dollar that you make, you have to pay the brand back in exchange for their operating manual and processes and support and everything that comes with owning that brand, which in the grand scheme of things is a small token to pay in exchange for someone that's already cut through a lot of the garbage of building a small business. You get to get fast tracked to a place where you're operating a business that makes sense. So in franchising, you're going to pay those fees. That gets you up to the starting line. For a franchisor, new franchisor, you're a business, your customers come in and say, hey, you should franchise your business. Well, now you got to understand the legalities of what it means to be a franchise brand. And there's vast differentiation between licensing and franchise opportunities. So you need to educate yourself on this. My recommendation is for you to reach out to a franchise attorney if you're thinking about looking at franchising your business, and use them as a guiding light for what are the next steps that you're going to need to go through, whether that's an FDD, the franchise disclosure document that you have to have created to be registered in specific states, or it's your operations manual, or it's just your game plan for how are you actually going to go grow this thing. And lastly, what is franchising for suppliers? If you are to look at any of the conferences that exist and look at the number of suppliers out there, there's tons of them. And so it's very important to do two things. One, build up your reputation. And two, establish a clear point of differentiation. We call this the why you, why now. Those two things are going to be essential because every time you sign a franchise brand, use it as leverage point to look at other brands and say, look, we've done a good job for this brand. Can't we do it for someone else? And this is just the tip of the iceberg, but this should give you a sense of what franchising is. If you're a candidate, it's the opportunity to own a business. If you're a small business, it's the opportunity to scale it using other people's money. And if you're a supplier, it's a beautiful community that you're able to supply something to, some sort of service or product that can have impact back to the franchise industry. To learn more, go to 1851franchise.com. I'm Nick Powles. Look forward to hearing more about your journey into franchising.